Hi and welcome to Time with Natalie. Now I'm here in sunny Miami with Cheryl Ellis, who's an author, trainer, speaker and coach, and she's an expert in leadership. Hi Cheryl.
Hi,
how are you?
Just great. How could you be anything but great in this great location, this great
know.
weather?
It's
super.
It's fantastic, and thank you so much for joining me. Now you're an expert in leadership, and my first question is, what makes a good leader?
Oh wow, that's a really good question. And here's the thing, I mean, there are so many things that are required to be a good leader. But I think the most important thing is, being authentically yourself and being willing to continuously learn new things and learn about people and learn about yourself and really just keep getting better all the time. I mean, to me, a good leader is a constant learner.
So how important is it for a leader to have a clear vision? Because if the leader doesn't have any vision and is scattered in what they're doing and have no direction, then that's going to have an impact on those that are following. So how important is that?
I would say I would place it up there on one of the most important things. So a leader does have to have a vision, but also the ability to attract other people to that vision, to enlist people to that vision, to help them see the vision and see themselves in the vision. How do I fit in, and how do I contribute, and how do I work within this vision? So it's more than just being able to establish the vision. It's getting people on board with it.
What sort of leaders are your personal favorites? Who would you say is up there as a real strong leader? Who do you like?
It's interesting today because there aren't a lot of really good role models, and a lot of the role models that I look to are not with us any longer. So certainly Nelson Mandela is one of the people that's at the top of my list. I know that you're a big fan of his too.
Absolutely.
And Gandhi. I look at their brand of leadership as being so selfless and so much about the other people that they're trying to engage, or that they're trying to lead. And to me, that's really the essence of a good leader. Is it's about the other people. It's not about me, it's about you, and it's about the people that I'm trying to influence. And they were just so particularly good at that those are people that I look up to. And you can learn from them, again and again and again, because they have so many lessons to teach.
So how do you become a great leader? What are the essences of
I'm
a
so
great
glad
leader?
you asked me that, because a lot of people think that leaders are just born, not made.
Yeah.
And I believe that leaders are made. So certainly you can be born with certain characteristics that make people want to follow you or be with you or engage with you. But there's so much about leadership that can be learned, and it can be taught. And a lot can be taught through experiences. If you go through life and you take the experiences that you're having and you learn things from them, and you can apply those things in other situations, you're in that learning mode, and you can teach those things to other people in an effective way, that really helps you gain as a leader. And I was especially interested in meeting those women, just for a little camaraderie, right? And so you can imagine my surprise when I started walking up and introducing myself, and these women would acknowledge me briefly and then move on quickly into the crowd. And I thought, wow, what's that about? And then a colleague of mine explained that these women were so concerned about the stereotype that they would only hang out with the other women, all 5 of us, and not be able to get along with the men, that they just didn't want to be falling into that stereotype.
And what are your thoughts on women leaders?
Well, it's an interesting time for women leaders, because to me, women leaders are finally coming into their own. Now, I have a long history of working in the business, especially in the large corporate arena for many years. And it was, I won't kid you, it was really difficult. I mean, very often the only woman in the room, and sometimes in situations where men really wish that I wasn't there, or they would prefer that I wasn't. And so now I think the world is changing in a way that suggests that we're starting to recognize the value that women bring to leadership, because women actually lead differently than men do. And in my view, when you have the combination of those talents together, that's the best of all possible worlds. But if you have just a male brand of leadership or just a female brand of leadership, it's really not a complete picture. I'm just so happy to see women coming into their own as leaders, and so it's a great time to be a leader.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your book. You have a book coming out soon. So can you share with us a little bit about what's in the book?
I will. It's called Becoming Deliberate, Changing the Game of Leadership from the Inside Out. And so the premise of the book is that the really important work of leadership is what I call the inside work, the tough inside work. It's critical. It's doing all the things that help you improve as a person so that you can be a more effective leader. And a lot of that has to do with the way that you think and how you feel and how you behave.
How did you find that whole process?
You know, it's interesting because I've heard a lot of people say that it's a big struggle. And I feel like I've had this book inside me for a very long time. So when it actually came to writing it, to sitting down writing it, it really kind of flowed. Now that was the first draft. So once I started working with an editor. The editor, it was a fabulous process for me because he was so collaborative and he was so encouraging and he really helped me make the book better. So for me, it was a fabulous process. I enjoyed every minute of it. I really did.
That's so good, because most people don't, do they? They find it a real chore, and it's just so difficult, and they can't think, they're not sure what to write, the page is blank, so that's great to hear.
That wasn't a problem for me. In fact, I'm looking forward to my next book. I don't know exactly what it's going to be yet. I have some ideas about that, but I really did enjoy the process, and I'm looking forward to the books coming out in May, and I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, I am too. So we'll definitely be sharing more information about the book as soon as it's out. And if people want to find out more information about you, what's your website, or what are the details of where they can get hold of you?
Oh, great! Thanks for asking that. It's my website is www.ellisbusinessenterprises.com.
Okay.
So my name, my last name Ellis, and then businessenterprises.com.
Okay, well, we'll make sure we put all the details in the links below. And thank you so much for joining me on today's show. I really appreciate it, and all the best with the book. I'm sure it is fabulous.
Oh, thank you, Natalie. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you so much.